What if you could take up space unapologetically, align your life with your dreams, surround yourself with genuine support, and actually find joy in the growth process? This is your guide to truly stepping into your power with confidence and fully embracing the goodness that you've grown in your life. We'll talk about staying motivated, overcoming comparison traps, and creating space for creativity, fun, and play. We'll also learn how to celebrate other people's wins while staying focused on your own growth and nurturing those uplifting relationships. Are you ready to rise with me and truly create a life that feels like blooming? Bonjour, and welcome back to the Bloomera podcast, or should I say your Bloomera. I'm your host, Brianne, and I am so excited to share this new season of growth with you. This season, we're stepping into rising, where we'll talk about what it means to rise in life, to live authentically as your best self, stay motivated to continue growing, and how to help others rise with you. This is part 5 of the Seasons of Growth series. If this is your first episode of the series, welcome. You've joined us at a really exciting moment. You can absolutely tune in from here, but trust me, you'll want to go back and catch up on all of the growth we've gone through so far. Because in the season of letting go, we worked on releasing what no longer serves us. The old narratives, toxic relationships, and self-doubt that is holding us back. Rebirth followed, where we reimagined and redefined who we are and what our life looks like. Then, in the rooting season, we dug deep to do the inner work and strengthen our foundation. And in the most recent episode, Sprouting, we learned how to bridge the gap between who we've been and who we are becoming, mapping out visible, actionable steps toward our goals. If you've missed any of these episodes, you are missing key steps in your transformation journey. But don't worry, you can go back and listen to any of those past episodes and build on what we're starting here today. This season, Rising, is all about building on those seasons of growth. To start taking up space unapologetically, creating a life that aligns with your dreams, and discovering joy in the process. Because all of this work is just that. Work. And because I know just how overwhelming it can be, I've done a lot of the work for you. I've created a Seasons of Growth email challenge where every 2 weeks throughout the series, you receive a customized set of journal prompts, positive affirmations, song recommendations, quotes, and more related podcasts for whatever season of growth you are in. You can also download my Seasons of Growth digital planner for free or purchase a physical copy through my website. All of those links will be included in the episode description. These are designed to guide you through these seasons with a little bit more ease, so you know what steps to take next and you aren't just stuck to fend for yourself. Whether you choose to utilize my Seasons of Growth email challenge or planner, what I really want to drive home here is that you have to do the work. You have to be dedicated to your growth and your healing. It's not enough to just visualize, want, or desire these things for your life. You actually have to take the steps to get you there. Doing the work and staying dedicated to it is about commitment. It's the promise that you make to yourself to keep growing, even after the initial excitement of progress starts to fade. While getting motivated helps you start, and maintaining helps you stay steady. Dedication is what keeps you rising higher when all of your habits have started to set in and that excitement begins to wear off. After making a decent amount of progress, it's easy to get comfortable. You might be thinking, I've got this. Why do I need to keep trying? But that's where dedication steps in. Dedication reminds you that growth isn't just about reaching one milestone and stopping. It's about continuing to aim for your best self, even when you feel confident in how far you've come. If you remember from the beginning of this series, the goal was always about continued personal growth. But continued personal growth and dedication don't mean that you have to stay in constant motion. Taking breaks and recharging is essential for your growth. I know it. I can see it every time you show up to this series, every time you open one of my emails in the email challenge, or every time that you open the digital planner. I mean, I can't actually see all of those things, but I do know that you're doing the work because you're here with me right now, and you can't sustain nonstop effort without rest. Plateaus in growth are normal, and I'm here to let you know that they can actually become something that you begin to embrace and enjoy. They allow you the opportunity to stop, appreciate how far you've come, and give yourself time and space to rest before taking that next step forward. Taking a break doesn't mean losing dedication. It's truly just a way to recharge so you can keep moving forward. Think of it like climbing a mountain. You stop and take a breath, maybe take in the view, smell some flowers, and refocus on how much further you have to go before you keep going. When it gets hard to keep going, it can help to remember your why, the reason that you started all of this growth and transformation, the reason you clicked on this episode, this series, whatever it is that brought you here today. Ask yourself, why did you start this journey? What vision of yourself inspired you to take your first step? Reconnecting with your purpose and your why can renew your dedication and remind you where you're headed and why you're doing all of this to begin with. To help you stay on track, I've created a free accountability group and chat where we can work together on weekly goals. It's a supportive space to keep each other motivated. If you'd love to join, or if you're interested in a Plan My Monthly Goals video or workshop, comment below to let me know. You can find the link for the accountability group in the comments. In the next season of Growth, Blooming, we'll talk more about the balance between pushing yourself and when to stop for rest and renewal. But for now, I want you to stop and think about your progress so far and recommit to your growth, because you're not just maintaining anymore. You are rising into your authentic and best self yet. Living authentically in who you aspire to be is about fully stepping into the version of yourself you're working so hard to create. It's not just about envisioning who you want to be anymore. It's about time you actually claim it, even if it feels unfamiliar or uncertain at first. We talked about this in the last season, Sprouting, about how to become comfortable with feeling uncomfortable in this new way of being. You've likely heard the phrase, fake it till you make it, but let's reframe that. Because no one is faking here. Faking implies that you're not whatever it is that you're trying to be. Instead of faking it, think of it as practicing or embodying who you want to be. Acting like the person that you aspire to be isn't about being fake. It's about building confidence and aligning your actions with your goals. For example, if you've been writing every day, you're not just trying or pretending. You are a writer. If you've been painting or drawing, congrats, you're an artist. If you've been stepping into leadership roles, organizing events, or rallying others, guess what? You are a leader. Whether you're gardening, designing, teaching, parenting, or learning something new, you are already living in alignment with that identity. You aren't faking it. You're actually doing it. So claim it. Say it out loud, write it down, introduce yourself as the person you aspire to be. Not someday, but right now. Owning who you are builds momentum in your life and helps you overcome the self-doubt that can creep up from time to time. In my episode, Stop Playing Small and Start Living Authentically, I talk about why it's so important to let go of the fear of taking up space and start embracing your full self. If this resonates with you, make sure to check it out for actionable steps on how to begin standing in your own light. Living authentically also means giving yourself permission to make mistakes as you grow into this version of yourself. It's not about perfection, it is about progress. And when you're authentic, you give other people permission to do the same. It creates a sort of ripple effect of confidence and courage. So ask yourself, what would the person you're aspiring to be do today? What choices would they make? What actions would they take? Then go do those things because you're already becoming them. Claim it and take up that space. Taking up space is about so much more than just taking up physical space. It's about owning your voice, your needs, and your authentic self. Allowing all of that into the space to be seen and to be heard. I know how uncomfortable it can feel to be seen and heard. Trust me, I've been there and I've overcome it. Now it's your turn. If you're watching this over on YouTube or Spotify, now is a good time to screenshot some journaling questions. You can write them down on a piece of paper, put them in your phone, or just pause and reflect. And if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, the link to my YouTube will be in the episode description for you. We are going to focus on two things right now: challenging those tendencies that you may have to shrink yourself and redefining what it means to be too much. First, challenge those shrinking tendencies. Ask yourself, do you downplay your successes, keep quiet in group settings, or feel hesitant to express your needs to others? When do you notice this happening? Then I want you to start practicing small ways to take up space, like speaking first in a meeting, or sharing an idea without first apologizing, or maybe expressing a need in a relationship. Again, without apologizing. Then let's redefine too much. If you've ever been told you're too much, let's reframe that. You're not too much. You're enough. And the right people will embrace that. I want you to write down specific times that you have been told that you're too much. What words were used? And how did they make you feel? Next, we are going to reframe those statements. We are going to rewrite the narrative and create a statement that honors your strength. For example, if you were told that you are too loud, reframe that to, my voice matters and I speak up because I have something valuable to share. And your strength statement might be, I bring energy and enthusiasm into the spaces that I'm in. If you were told that you are too bossy, reframe that to, I'm a natural leader who knows how to take charge and makes things happen. And your strength statement might be, my decisiveness and ability to organize inspires confidence in others. If you were told that you are too opinionated, reframe that to, I have a strong sense of self and the courage to share my perspective. And a strength statement might sound like, I encourage thought-provoking conversations and stand by my values. If you were told that you are too emotional, reframe that to, my emotions are a source of strength and they allow me to connect deeply with others. And your strength statement could be, my empathy helps me understand and support people around me. You can use your strength statement as a kind of positive affirmation, or you can use a more general one like, I am enough just as I am. The right people will value my fullness and all that I have to offer. I have talked about the power of positive affirmations in the last 2 parts of this series, more specifically about neuroplasticity, or the ability to rewire your thoughts from negative to positive, and the power to change your mindset through positive affirmations. I have a daily prompt in my Seasons of Growth planner that reminds me each day to pick and practice using positive affirmations. I repeat them to myself every time I see a mirror, which is every time I go to the bathroom and wash my hands. That's my personal practice. As a reminder, you can get a free digital planner from me using the link in my episode description, or you can purchase a physical one if that is more your style. Taking up space isn't selfish, it is self-affirming. The world needs your presence, your perspective, and your unique contribution. And if you are still finding it hard to show up and take up that space, go back and listen to my episode on the season of sprouting called 20 Steps to Show Up as Your Best Self and Reinvent Yourself in 90 Days, because we really broke down what is holding you back from showing up, what to do when you feel uncomfortable being seen or heard, and how to find your authentic voice or way of being. Once you work through all of that, taking up space will feel a lot more comfortable and safe. And while we're talking about overcoming the feeling of being too much, I want to ask you to consider if there are any old patterns, habits, or relationships that feed into that fear of being too much. In the death season of growth, we talked about dead leafing, or letting go of what no longer serves you. Just like a plant needs to lose dead leaves that are draining it of precious resources, energy, and ability to grow further, you also need to let go of dead leaves and things that don't serve you to conserve your energy to grow. You need to let go of those old habits, patterns, and relationships that are holding you back. And we're talking about this again because it's not just a one-time thing. It's an ongoing practice. It's okay to cycle through these phases as many times as you need, because growth isn't linear. As you begin to rise taller and grow more lush in this growth journey, revisit the areas of your life regularly. Assess what's contributing to your growth and what's holding you back. If you find yourself struggling to let go, don't worry, you're not the only one, but you might want to revisit the season of death, where that was the focus. Deadleafing isn't just about removing negativity. It's about making space for better things to enter into your life, or for more growth in areas that you want to focus on. I want you to consider filling some of that space with uplifting relationships. You've probably heard the saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This says that the people you surround yourself with have a huge impact on who you are, what you believe, and how you grow. Knowing that, the people that you surround yourself with should inspire you and uplift you, whether they're friends, partners, role models, podcasters, or other people that you give your time to. Take stock of your inner circle. Who energizes you? you, who inspires you, and who drains you. Like we discussed in the letting go episode, while you can't control how others show up in your life, you can control how much access you give them to your time, energy, and space. Be selective about the company that you keep. The goal is to create an environment where you feel supported, valued, and understood. And if you're finding that you might need some uplifting connections in your life, consider looking in spaces filled with growth, positive change, or just mutual interests. Places where growth, support, and community are at the forefront. That could be a yoga class, book clubs, especially those focused on personal growth or empowerment. Maybe it's a workshop or a lecture at your local library. Really just any growth-oriented space. I have a virtual book club and accountability club if you need a good place to start. I'd be honored to have you in the club, and you already know it's filled with like-minded people hoping to empower themselves and grow because they also found me on the same podcast. The links to join those clubs are in the episode description for you. Wherever you turn to find those uplifting connections, just know this: finding people who uplift you also means being open to receiving help and support. That is a part of allowing them to uplift you. I bring this up because I know that asking or receiving help can be incredibly hard for some people, especially if you've been let down in the past or you struggle with vulnerability. But remember, asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's an act of courage and trust, and it takes a lot of strength. If you find it hard to let people in, try explaining your hesitations in a way that feels comfortable for you. Share what you're ready to share and set boundaries with what you're not. The people who genuinely care about you will respect your process and your pace. I know that some of us still have wounds from past friendships, relationships, or experiences of abandonment. These wounds can make it harder to trust others or to let people in. I've been there before, and I'm actually working on a series digging into these exact topics. This series will talk about the challenges of building and maintaining healthy relationships while healing from past hurts. But I need your help. Here's where you come in. I want to hear from you. What questions do you have? What struggles have you faced when it comes to letting people in, finding uplifting relationships, or healing from pain caused from relationships or friendships? Your input is valuable and can help shape these conversations to help not only yourself, but others as well. Whether you're rebuilding trust, setting boundaries, or opening yourself up to new connections, every step forward is progress. Progress in those relationships is important on this growth journey, but so is your relationship with self and holding on to your independence along the way. Independence doesn't mean isolation. It means maintaining your sense of self while building and nurturing these healthy relationships. One of the most powerful tools for staying independent is setting and honoring your boundaries, values, and standards. Take time to reflect on and write down what you're looking for in new friendships, new romantic relationships, your family connections, or even your workplace dynamics. And then commit to those standards for your life. For additional support in these areas, you can go back and check out my episodes on bold boundaries, how to powerfully say no, speak up for yourself, and set strong boundaries, an interview with Amy Green Smith. Her and I also had an episode on difficult conversations, how to start them, end them, what to say, and how to stand up for yourself. You can also revisit my previous season, Sprouting, where we explored boundaries in depth. I offered examples of setting firm but compassionate boundaries, finding your voice, and how to manage when somebody oversteps those boundaries. Along with your relationship to self and your relationship to others, another primary focus for uplifting yourself and rising even further is in the media and content that you surround yourself with. The media that you consume has a huge impact on your mindset. So make it a priority to filter and detox your content regularly, whether it's social media, books, podcasts, or TV shows. Ensure that what you are consuming aligns with your values and supports your growth. This can seem like a huge undertaking, but it can be done in 2 fairly simple steps. First, create a content audit. Reflect on how the media you engage with makes you feel. Does it inspire you, challenge you in healthy ways, or uplift you? Or does it leave you feeling inadequate, stressed, or stuck in a comparison trap? Then do a digital detox. Unfollow accounts, mute people, or unsubscribe from content that drains you or makes you feel bad about yourself. Replace it with voices and people that inspire, educate, or encourage you to grow. Like maybe me. You can find me over on social media at Blumera Podcast. I also have an entire episode on this called Digital Detox, taking a break from social media and your phone. That includes bonus journal prompts for social media breaks. Over time, living authentically becomes easier as you begin to let go of media that reinforces a mold that you have outgrown, whether it's the expectations of your family, society, or even past versions of yourself. Aligning your media consumption with your authentic self can take effort in the beginning, but trust me, it is far less exhausting than trying to pretend to be something that you're not, or to fit into spaces that you just don't belong in anymore. And if that doesn't drain you, the content itself or the constant comparison will. And truly, comparison is a sneaky obstacle that can get in the way of your progress. It's completely natural to notice what others are doing, but it's important to recognize when admiration or acknowledgement turns into envy or self-doubt. If someone else is succeeding, it doesn't take away from your worth or the work that you're doing. It doesn't take away from your potential or your worth. Their wins aren't your losses. Someone else's gain doesn't always come at your loss. I challenge you to reframe comparison to inspiration. Instead of feeling threatened by somebody else's success, ask yourself, what can I learn from their journey? What about their growth resonates with me? How can I use this as motivation to keep working toward my goals? And remember, that person's path is theirs. It's not a reflection of yours. You are on your own unique journey, and your progress cannot be measured against theirs. Keep your focus on what you are building and not what they have achieved. Work to beat your own personal bests. Be better than you were yesterday and to continue growing. And try cheering them on as they do the same for themselves. Because there's real power in uplifting others as you rise. If you have the space and the energy, support other people around you. Encourage them, celebrate their wins, and inspire them by simply living as your authentic self. But remember, helping others rise doesn't mean sacrificing yourself in the process. And here is a hard truth. Even if somebody played a role in your struggles or your downfall, holding on to resentment is only going to weigh you down and hold you back from living your best life. Unless they are still actively causing you harm, don't allow their presence or their memory to occupy your mind. Continue to remind yourself that holding on to those dead leaves is not going to help you grow. They'll just be living rent-free in your brain, still holding you back from all of the good things that you deserve. So really, dead leaving applies here too. Let go of bitterness, holding grudges, and time spent directing hate at others. Redirect that energy to building yourself up and rising even further. Rising so far away from them that they just become a speck in your past. Release what doesn't serve you and appreciate all that you are growing for yourself. Sometimes it can be hard to allow yourself to fully embrace the good things that come your way, even without the help of a hater in your life. Whether it's love, success, or happiness, a lot of us will actually self-sabotage or feel undeserving of that goodness. As someone who personally struggles with this, I know how much it can hold you back in life. Let's get to the root of that, because the longer you take to do that, the longer it will take to accept and appreciate the positive changes that you are growing. Here are 3 steps to help you feel more comfortable accepting goodness in your life. First, reflect on why receiving goodness feels difficult. Ask yourself, is it tied to past wounds, feelings of unworthiness, or a fear of losing what you gain? Then I have another reframing practice. I want you to reframe your mindset. You are worthy of joy, love, and success simply because you are. Just as you would believe your best friend, partner, or even just a baby coming into this world is deserving of all of those good things, you are too. You are no exception to that rule. And the third step is to practice gratitude daily. Acknowledge the good you already have in your life, no matter how small, and do it regularly. The more you focus on the positive, the more you will see the positive, and the easier it will become to appreciate it. The work of healing and growth is heavy, But that doesn't mean you have to live in the heaviness all of the time. Making space for play, fun, and lightness is essential in your growth and your transformation. My last bit of homework comes in the form of play and positivity. Isn't that the best kind of homework? I'm going to ask you to prioritize play. Play isn't just for kids. Dance, paint, run around with your dog, laugh until your stomach hurts, because those moments can truly recharge your soul. Sometimes when I need more play and joy in my life, I just turn some Taylor Swift on and dance around with my kids. Dancing is absolutely a form of somatic therapy. If you don't know where to start, I encourage you to look to your inner child. My children have inspired me to do that for myself. What was fun and what did you enjoy playing with when you were a kid? When healing your inner child, your inner teenager, or any other wounded part of yourself, don't forget that play is a part of the process too. After doing a lot of deep healing work, it was so incredibly relieving for me to learn that healing isn't just about working through the pain or living in that pain. It's also about making space and time for the joy, wonder, freedom, and play that may have been lost along the way. Please don't live in the heaviness. Lean into lightness and allow it to balance out all of the hard work that we are doing over here. So, what is one playful activity you can add to your week to reconnect with play and fun? Feel free to comment it below or use it as your first post in my accountability group. I would love to hear what joy you choose for your week. And simply stating it can help motivate you to follow through with it. It can also help inspire the others who see it. That is the power of accountability and the entire reason that I started my accountability club. I'll link that below so you can join us today. It's important to remember that growth is not a destination. It's a journey that ebbs and flows. That is why this is the seasons of growth. We cycle through all of these seasons. You've done incredible work staying dedicated, embracing your authentic self, and deadleafing any areas that you need to let go by finding uplifting connections, inspiring content, and through reconnecting with your own joy through play and fun. Each of these steps builds even more on the foundation that we have been building in this series of growth. So far, we've covered death, rebirth, rooting, and sprouting, and now rising. But this isn't the end of the journey. Growth comes in seasons, and with every new season, we have the opportunity to deepen our self-awareness, to continue building on our progress, and to celebrate just how far we've come. And that is why I'm so excited about the next season of growth, Blooming. In Blooming, we'll shift the focus to embracing and celebrating your achievements, practicing that skill of embracing goodness in your life, as well as creating a kind of rite of passage to truly honor your transformation and learning to give generously to yourself. We'll talk about how to encourage and uplift yourself as you continue to grow, how to continue living authentically while helping others rise alongside you, fighting the discomfort that can arise from winning or being happy, because joy and success can feel scary and fleeting for some. We'll write an entirely new story about who you are and truly believing that you are good enough, as well as the importance of rest and reflection as key parts of sustained growth. And finally, recognizing that growth isn't linear and it comes in seasons. This foundation we have built, the tools we have gathered along the way throughout this series, and the experience that you've had moving through all of these seasons will allow you to more easily move through each season as they come and go in your life. As you continue to rise and prepare to bloom, it's important to reflect on how far you've come, which is why we'll be calling back to previous seasons: death, rebirth, rooting, and sprouting. In death, we focused on the importance of shedding old patterns, letting go of what no longer serves you, and making room for new growth. In rebirth, we took all of that devastation and loss and turned it into something purposeful. We got a chance, an opportunity to really visualize the life that we want, the life we deserve. In rooting, we talked about doing the inner work, setting those foundational boundaries, understanding your values, and practicing self-awareness. In sprouting, We learned how to start showing up as this new version of yourself. These seasons are really laying the foundation for your growth process and are incredibly helpful as you navigate this stage of rising. All of those episodes will be linked in the show description for you. And remember, I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below or fill out my community survey and let me know what you want to hear more of. I'll see you in the next episode.